Woman contracted a strange illness, and by the next day when she was found, she had already become a shriveled corpse, skin and bones. Afraid of causing panic, her family didn't announce her death to the village. The shaman warned them that the burial could only take place 7 days later, and that it must be a water burial in a specific pond. In Indonesia, burial in the ground is a common tradition. Tari initially wanted to lay her mother to rest this way, but seeing how strange her mother's death was, she reluctantly followed the shaman's instructions. Before the burial, Tari kept her mother's body in their home, but on the very first night, something terrifying happened. While keeping vigil, Tari suddenly heard her mother's voice. It sounded like she was urging them to leave immediately. The nanny, hearing the noise, came over. Thinking Tari was just exhausted, she told her to go rest. But as soon as she returned to her room, Tari heard her daughter scream. Her daughter tearfully told her that grandma had just been lying on their bed. But when Tari looked, aside from her youngest son, no one else was there. She could only comfort her daughter, saying it must have been a nightmare. The second day arrived quickly. Kadar was stressing over his overdue debts when suddenly he heard chanting coming from the living room. But besides their deceased mother, there was no one else there. So who was chanting? Kadar gathered his courage and walked into the living room, only to see a group of strangely dressed people sitting around his mother's body. When they saw Kadar enter, they all turned to look at him, their eyes cold and expressionless. A chill ran down Kadar's back. He had no idea when these people had come in. But the moment the light was turned on, they all vanished into thin air. Kadar stood frozen in shock. The strange events didn't stop there. On the third day, Kadar was drunk and groggy when a woman pulled him into a narrow alley. It was supposed to be a dead end, but the woman mysteriously opened a hidden door in the alley. The next morning, when Kadar woke up, he found himself completely naked, lying in the middle of a graveyard.